Peace be with you and with your spirit, everyone. Welcome to Coaster Talk live stream.
Hello,
Live look at episode
everyone.
number 76. We're getting up there, Bob.
Yeah, so am I. I'm getting old.
I'm getting old too, Bob. I'm going to be 17 coming up, almost 18 years old.
I don't want to hear it.
I'm going to be an adult in a year.
An adult.
An adult.
An adult.
Quotes.
You're going to be an adult.
Quotes, quote unquote. It has been a bit of a hectic week, to say the least, in terms of in terms of the country, in terms of, it's already with COVID, already was crazy, and it's just getting crazier now. And then, of course, personal things. Me and Bob are both having some tough times, so thank God the parks are reopening. So soon we can go back to our little escape, hopefully.
All I want to do is sleep. That's really all I feel like doing anymore.
I think I would opt for a ride on Voyage right now.
Yeah.
Just maybe.
Yeah, I could do that too, if we're being honest. Well, I guess actually I will in the end of this month.
Don't rub it in, Bob. I may be riding Lightning Rod, which isn't as good, but it's very close.
It is a good option. Why?
I have not ridden it since 2018, I think, so very well could move up in my rankings some if I deem it so worthy.
If you do.
And if I don't, I don't. But if I do, I do.
Okay, I gotta get used to this new setup. I changed the screen.
Get Audacity up, Bob.
Oh, crap, that too. It's backwards. My portrait monitor used to be on my right side. Now it's on my left side.
Well, I'm testing my audio for the podcast, and it looks pretty good, actually. It's coming through pretty clear, crystal, and loud.
Crystal?
Well, I'm testing my
How do you know it's crystal?
Audio for the pod. It's crystal clear.
Seeing it.
It's crystal clear. Crystal clear audio for the Coaster Talk podcast. Crystal
Is that like visiting an ATM machine?
Yeah, it is.
That irritates me so bad. That's one thing when people say ATM machine. That I don't like it.
I think you get pissed off a lot more than you realize. about a lot of stuff you don't seem to realize, because that pisses me off the most. I think I've heard that before.
Okay, speaking of things that piss me off, why doesn't YouTube have the ability to just open up a window with just the chat?
You can.
Can somebody explain how?
It's called the pop-out chat.
Oh, look at that. Pop-out chat.
Yeah. And YouTube has once again thwarted the great Bob Mertz. These morons don't know what they're doing, and
this one time, I apologize to Google. One time. One. We're nowhere near even.
Trust me, neither am I.
Put a stop to this noise.
1, 2, 3, 4. Had that up from earlier.
Nothing to see here. We popped out. All right. Now I have to, man. I gotta get used to this new setup. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna put everything because stuff doesn't fit anymore.
Is my mic coming through on the live stream? It should be, I think.
It might be.
Oh, it is.
I don't know.
It is.
I'm not gonna start that again. YouTube. I don't. That's the one thing I really don't understand about YouTube is why it consumes so many browser resources.
Why did Pam? You're commenting on the actual video. You're not. You're not commenting on the live stream chat. She said, "I like bread. Do you like bananas?"
I like bread.
What are you trying to think of? What were we talking about that?
I don't know. I don't recall.
She said, "I like bread. Do you like bananas?" What are you guys trying to think of? Kings Island is suing Ohio to open. Yeah, that's in the rundown.
Why? Why won't you go into the tab? What? Why? Come on. All right. Everything really is pissing me off right now.
All right. I think we should just start the show.
I don't understand. The tabs won't go. They won't go into. I'm gonna just start punching stuff.
Is it because Linux?
No, it's Firefox. I don't know why. I don't understand.
Linux. Come here, Linux.
Linux is so much better. This doesn't make sense. It won't go into, like, you know how like if you have two windows and you have tabs, you can drag the tab into the other window. It's not doing that. It just says no. I don't understand why. There's no good reason for it. Oh, that's a private browsing tab. Okay. Sorry, Firefox. That was another one of my bads. This isn't a good day for me. All right. I don't see any comments. All right. Audacity. This is a test of my audio. Why? Oh, I hit record, not play. My brain is not working today at all. All right. This is a test of my audio. Seems like everything's there. Hopefully it remains there. Make sure it's not. Okay, I think it's getting the right mic, possibly. Knock it off. I was tapping on the microphone. Oh, it might be a little bit loud, actually.
Sign language.
Why is it? It does. Seems loud. Why can't I adjust the audio? Oh, there we go. All right. That was loud. All right. This is another test, and it's still loud. Why is it all so loud? This is so weird.
I don't know.
I don't understand. All right. This is testing my audio again and again and again and again. All right. I think that's better. It seems better. Okay, then. We're going to go with that.
Are you ready?
And if it doesn't work right, you can, well, hold on. I have to delete all that junk. What you going to do with all that junk? All that junk.
Inside your trunk?
Sorry. Inside my trunk. All right. Let's see.
You sound like me. All right. Here we go. All right.
I know. I'm turning into you, and I don't like that.
Oh. Turning into a cool dude. That must be upsetting for you. Yeah, I understand.
It is. All right. What other tabs do I need open?
The rundown, RCDB.
I got that one. Oh, I do need RCDB open.
That's later, but still. We better get some good coasters going.
Oh, my random roller coaster is New Revolution.
That one, we'll redo that when we do it, right? Mm-hmm. All right, let's go. You ready?
Sure.
All right. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to start off with the condemning.
Okay.
That sounded bad out of context.
Oh, wait. I got to get rid.
I'm going to condemn the George Floyd killing.
Yeah.
I'm going to start off condemning. That sounded bad. Start the show. All right, everyone. I condemn all of you. You suck. I hate it.
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
All right. Let me get this up. So I'm gonna start off with my thing, and then you can fill in, and then once you say your thing, then I'll say, okay, guys, welcome to Coaster Talk. Let's talk about some coasters now. But we just wanted to start off because I just want to start off with that, so it's almost like before the show even. It's not even part of the show, kind of, just like a little bit before. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, guys, before we start off this week's show, we have a quick little topic to discuss, something that's going on in the country right now. There's a lot of riots and protests, and we're not going to get political here in anything like that, but I just want to come out and address the elephant in the room, and I just, because it would be kind of rude to not state this right now in this time of uncertainty in the country, and I want to come out and condemn the killing of George Floyd. That was terrible what happened. And I'm not going to get into whether or not, the protests are right or the riot, whatever. I'm not going to get into the politics of it all, but I definitely want to come out and say that we condemn that. That was a terrible thing, and I feel for the family. And it's just an awful loss.
Yeah, it's certainly been a rough couple of weeks in this nation, and I think we're at a point where we need to evaluate things. And again, it's not a side of the aisle thing, but I think that we definitely condemn it. It was actually that was just an absolutely horrible thing that happened, and it's definitely good to see people voicing their opinion peacefully, and I hope we can continue the discussion and resolve things in a peaceful manner, and let's get back on track for this democracy and everything that it stands for.
Indeed. So welcome to Coaster Talk, your source for everything about coasters. We're going to get back on topic. We're going to get back to the roller coaster side of things here. Just wanted a quick little disclaimer, quick little discussion about what's going on in our country, but let's get back into the roller coasters of things. You're listening to your source for everything roller coasters. It is June 7th, 2020. This is episode number 76 of the show. I'm James Barber.
And I'm Bob Mertz.
And yeah, it's time for some coaster talk. It's exciting stuff. So just wanted to start off, one of the biggest parks that announced reopening is officially reopened now to the public. It was today, actually. We were recording the show on Thursday night, so it is June 4th right now. So Islands of Adventure just opened up, but for the past couple of days, we've been seeing the media and pass holders go, and the Jurassic Coaster is coming along great. It looks fantastic, and as the Intamin coaster that's coming to Islands of Adventure, it looks like a lot of fun. Looks really great, and so yeah, that was something that I wanted to just quickly bring up and talk about that.
Yeah, it does look like a lot of fun. It looks interesting. People have been talking about the one Heartline Roll that is. Mm-hmm. People are kind of comparing it to what Maverick's Heartline Roll might have been like, only safe and enjoyable. Some of the shots I've seen have actually looked like they're really going to be. It's going to be a lot of fun. A really fun coaster.
Yes, and that was just a good transition point to now talk about other parks that are planning on reopening, starting off with Busch Gardens Tampa. So we talked about Busch Gardens Tampa setting a date, and I believe on their website last week we stated that it said June 5th. That has now been changed to a June 11th opening date. So June 11th, Tampa Busch Gardens will reopen. Iron Gwazi will not.
Yeah, I believe this is. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. But I did want to mention, I think it's all of the SeaWorld properties in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So that includes their water park as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't they have something else small down
there? I think
there?
they have a Discovery Cove at the SeaWorld park, which is where like the adventure thing where you can go see the dolphins and stuff.
That might also be.
That's a separate park, I believe.
But yeah, so I believe it's all of SeaWorld's properties in Florida will be opening on June 11th.
Yeah, so that's awesome. But
Iron Gwazi won't.
Yeah, as I was saying, Iron Gwazi will not be reopening. Which, I mean, some people are acting like that's a humongous shocker there. I mean, I'm not very surprised by that. I mean, some 2020 projects are already, being pushed to 2021. I don't think we're going to see that with Iron Gwazi because, I mean, it's pretty close to complete. I think it's almost completed. But
SeaWorld did mention that they were highly considering all of their 2020 attractions, postponing them from opening until 2021. And I can see their point. The whole point of a new attraction is to bring guests in.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have capacity limits, you can't really do that. I
have yet to see
I think that
I have yet to see that, but from SeaWorld. But I take your word for that.
It was a discussion in their. I don't know if it was I think it was their quarterly call.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. It wasn't a definitive thing, but it was something they were considering.
Yeah.
And from a business standpoint, I can see that.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that when you're only allowed to bring, what are they allowed, 30 or 40% capacity, I believe the parks down there are allowed to have at their parks. So when you're only allowed that small amount of people in your park, it makes sense why you wouldn't want to. I feel like maybe once, some restrictions are uplifted even more than they already are now, they may consider, like if they're up to like 75% capacity or 70 or something like that later down the road, maybe later summer, they may reconsider doing it, but I would not be expecting it to be anytime soon. I wouldn't get my hopes up for that. Maybe, set your expectations for a later summer, and maybe it happens, mid-August or something. But I would expect a later August, September maybe, if they are, because that's probably when, restrictions are going to be uplifted to the point where they might feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah, but at the same time, at that point, you've kind of. The problem is if you open it in August, or like you open it late in the year, you restrict the amount of time that you have available for the season.
Well, Busch Gardens Tampa is a
year-round park. And then what happens?
So.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I mean, they're still pulling people from other areas. That's the unique thing about it. Like, yes, it's a year-round park, but they're not really pulling the business through those winter months that they do through the summer.
I think a lot of people during Christmas break go down to the Florida parks.
Oh, okay. Yes. During Christmas break, like you have that little burst. But the thing is if let's say you just have that month where, okay, it's all out and you can bring all the guests in you want. The problem with 2021 then is that you can no longer market it as a new attraction. So they lose that marketing power. And, I think that's the kind of thing, like if you could open it now, it might be beneficial. But if you get to that point, it's almost kind of like let's cut our losses type of thing. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say which way they go. But from a business standpoint, I can certainly see them do it. I don't want to see them do it because that'll likely mean Pantheon as well. And, I want to ride. But, it's something definitely to keep in mind.
No doubt. So, speaking of other parks reopening, we talked about Busch Gardens Tampa Bay. Dollywood reopening June 17th. So that's some big news for anybody that's in the Tennessee area. I know that's kind of a secluded area in terms of theme parks. You don't have too many near you. So if that's your neck of the woods, then you're in good shape because, again, Dollywood June 17th. And also, Isn't Silver Dollar City opening June 17th as well? Or aren't they the Herschend Parks reopening at the same time?
It sound. I think so. I don't know if it's the exact same date, but I think it's close.
It's very close, if not the exact. I did not write the Herschend date down, but that is also happening. The Silver Dollar City date down, but that is also happening. Dollywood again, June 17th. If it's Silver Dollar City isn't June 17th, it's right thereafter. So very close, very close. So Silver Dollar City and Dollywood, both Herschend properties, are opening very soon, though, in June. Also opening in June are the Six Flags Texas properties, Six Flags Fiesta and Six Flags Over Texas, June 19th. That's exciting. I remember we were looking at thinking it would be a mid-May opening here a couple of weeks ago when they posted that to their website, but that did not happen, obviously. But it is still they're still one of the first major parks to reopen here. A lot of are announcing them now, but they're still technically some of the first major ones to announce that. And definitely they're the two major Six Flags parks to announce their reopening as well.
Yeah, and Six Flags America hasn't announced a date, but they're getting ready, which is kind of a...
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how... Six Flags America is one of the last ones I would think, mainly because of the area that they're in. Well, maybe Great Adventure as well. They're in a bad area as well. But Six Flags America is, I mean, that's my closest local park, and I mean, as all the areas in the Metro DC area, like that, they are in the heart of the COVID crisis. So I don't know, it's kind of interesting. But they are actually building structures in their entrance to accommodate, which is kind of crazy to see. It's like they're actually, they have construction projects going on just to facilitate the COVID-19 restrictions.
I mean, you think in a year that might become obsolete. So, I mean, would it be a waste of investment? Because, I mean, like in a year, if there is, I mean, most likely going to be some sort of cure,
I don't know,
some sort of, some sort of breakthrough in the COVID vaccine, hopefully. So at that point, it would become almost like they spent all this money on it, brand new technology and all this. I feel like a lot of the restrictions and things like that will be temporary. So I don't know.
Well, some of it is, I know one of the things is definitely the infrared scanning for temperatures, but another thing is they have some type of touch-free security scanning as well. And I'm not sure how this works, but that may be something that speeds up things in the future, so it might be worth keeping. Maybe they're like, well, hey, we have to do this. This will let us open. Let's do it. If it works, we'll keep it. If it doesn't, then they pull it out. I don't know. It'll be interesting, but it's certainly kind of a shocking thing. Like I wasn't expecting to see any construction projects going on just to facilitate this.
Yeah, and
but Six Flags America,
it's curious to me if they are to do that temperature check, why would that be useful for them down the road? I just can't. I don't know. It'd just be strange to see. Maybe maybe it'll be multi-functioning type of system. Maybe it'll also be some sort of maybe it kind of works hand in hand with the new security system, and it's like you can do both in the same platform. So I don't know.
And then also, I mean, I know infrared scanning can. There's a lot of interesting things that can come of that. I know back when I was a firefighter, we had I went on a call where it was an accident with a drunk driver, and the drunk driver just he left the scene. But we're in the middle of the woods, so everybody started searching, and the first thing I did was grab our thermal imager. And I just scanned, and all of a sudden, there's somebody hiding behind that rock. So like it's kind of interesting, like the things you can actually do with infrared. So it's possible like they're buying a system that can do this, but also serve another purpose.
Yeah.
I start getting a little bit concerned with privacy implications and things like that in the future. But from a practicality purpose, maybe this is something that serves serves another purpose down the road.
Most definitely. Carowinds also is in the talks of reopening. They have not set a confirmed date, but according to a park spokesman, they're looking at a late June opening, which would be later this month. So I don't know. I thought Carowinds. We talked about North Carolina and South Carolina a couple weeks ago, and how South Carolina was allowing amusement resorts to reopen and things like that, and how North Carolina was still not fully allowing them to reopen because we joked about how maybe half the park would reopen. But I mean, now, I mean, I haven't seen anything about North Carolina allowing for this, so I don't know if they're going to plan on.
I think I saw something about them actually petitioning the governor.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. They are not, however, doing what Kings Island is doing.
No, they're not.
Kings Island is actually suing the state of Ohio. Yeah. And this one, I don't know how I feel about this. So the situation is Ohio has basically opened up everything, in essence, everything except for amusement parks. And I mean, there is a difference in the sense that, like, I understand people saying, well, enclosed buildings like bowling alleys and, you know, fun parks and things like that are indoors, you know, that's more dangerous than an outdoor facility. But at the same time, you don't have the travel that you have for those types of facilities like you do with Kings Island and especially Cedar Point.
Yeah.
You're attracting people from so many different areas of the nation that it kind of goes against things in a different way than just the volume of people or any of those concerns. It's more of a concern of more of a out of region transmittal, you know, bringing the virus in and out of the region. So I can kind of understand that. But the thing that really blows my mind is right now the order says that they have to remain closed until July 1st. Now, granted that it's not specifically saying they can open at that time, but it's looking like it. So the thing is, for me, is
I think
you're suing, like, it just seems like kind of a premature thing because there's also a pending bill in Ohio that's designed to allow them to open. So why would you sue when there's a pending bill and when you also may only gain 2 weeks advantage? It just, I don't know. It just doesn't.
What I've heard is that they may have weird. They may have connections with actual representatives on this board that's voting for this bill that you're talking about, and then that they have insider information that is not going to pass. So they're already starting to sue because of that. So I had no clue if that's correct, but I would assume that like you're saying, I think that would be pretty pointless if you have this bill that most likely will be passing. So unless they know it's not going to pass, which is a rumor, then I don't understand what the reasoning behind it is either. But that's what I've heard, and that would make a lot more sense in why they were doing that, why they felt that was a necessary move for them. But
but even so, I mean, even if there's indications that like the first week of July they'll be able to open, is it really beneficial to put all this effort into a lawsuit?
I think they're looking for confirmation. I think they're looking for confirmation from, like, hey, can you confirm that we're going to be open? Because it could very well be we get to June 1st and he goes, yeah, let's extend it to July 15th, excuse me. Or let's extend it to July 20th. And then it's like, hey man, you opened up, I mean, we don't know that for sure, but I mean, it's likely. Yeah. It's likely. So they might be looking for some sort of confirmation from the governor to state when they can.
I guess that's a possibility. I don't know. To me, it also just seems like, you know, some of their wording too kind of like bug me. It's just like this, you know, some of their wording is just like, we're done caring about restrictions, which that kind of bugs me. And I'm not saying they don't have a point in what they're going for, but at the same point, their attitude kind of seems off to me. I mean, of course, we have to be concerned about people's mental health and the issue of the economy and things like that. But, you know, in some ways it feels almost like Kings Island is kind of like saying, look, nobody can survive without us. And like it, there's some truth to that statement in a way, but it just kind of bugs me. It just like makes me feel not right about it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand that. But I mean, I think they are a very vital point in Ohio's tourism, and I know you understand that as well. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think they are wanting to get the head start on this and figure out, hey, when can we reopen? You can't just say when we're supposed to be closed till. Tell us when we're allowed to actually reopen. Like,
yeah, that is a fair point. I think the government should be giving them an indication of, look, this is what we're looking at.
But the thing is, if this had been like, if this had been, let's say Ohio had not done and like had not reopened anything else, I would 100% be like, this is out of the ordinary to request this and to sue them. But since like we said, almost vitally, everything's reopening pretty much in Ohio. I mean, so
Yeah,
that's
but like
the big reason I think that they're going, hey, come on, really?
and I mean, I definitely see their point, but I think they're kind of like this is the thing that kind of gets me. It's like, look, we're so vital to pulling people into this area to support our local businesses, but yet they completely are ignoring the fact that, yes, that could be the concern. You're pulling people into the area. It's like this.
I think
not that they don't have a point. I mean, they definitely have a point, and I'm not saying, oh, they're absolutely wrong, but at the same time, you got to understand that, like, their whole attitude is like, yeah, we're this, we're more important and we're bigger, and we have more to offer the local economy. And I'm not going to argue with that. They're actually correct in that, but they, even while they're looking at that, they refuse to look at the potential of, wait, maybe that's why people were more concerned. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, this can go so many different ways, and depending on how you look at it, and different things. But it just, I don't know.
Again, with that reasoning, again with that reason, your reasoning here, I know you're saying like the point might be that they don't want people to come back, and draw in these many people in. But I think the point of reopening the economy is so that you will have more people draw back in. So I think the thing is, their thinking is, hey, if you're going to reopen the economy, we are like a huge part of that, so you have to let us reopen, or it's still, the economy is still going to suffer some. I mean, so I think if Ohio wasn't.
Oh, and I agree with that point. I mean, they're absolutely correct on that. I can definitely see where, Kings Island and Cedar Point being a vital part of the economy of those local areas. But at the same time, it's like their wording is like, their wording. They even said, like, look, we're experts at managing risk, and it's like, wait, so you've dealt with a pandemic before?
A little showboaty, a little showboaty. Yeah, it's a little showboaty.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. It's like their wording just kind of is like, wait, are you guys? Mm-hmm. It just seems like their wording is disconnected from what their argument is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fair point. 100%. Yeah. Well, leaving that behind, I'm talking about another Cedar Fair Park we just talked about with Carowinds. Carowinds GM is actually talking about making the park a year-round park. This is totally hypothetical, she's saying, but it is most likely the future plan. So Pat Jones is the GM of the park. She's been with Cedar Fair for a long time. She used to be at Kings Dominion, and she is now stating that Carowinds wants to become a year-round park. They want to become a large resort similar to the likes of Cedar Point or Knott's Berry Farm. So that's pretty great. I mean, and I think it's possible is the thing. There's certain parks that, it's kind of like, yeah, you don't want to, like, if they said that about Kings Dominion or, something like that, I'd be like, come on. But Carowinds definitely is, I can feel, ready for that next step in their park. They've become almost a destination. In my school that Carowinds, even people that haven't been there. It's made a name for itself just outside of Charlotte, outside of North Carolina. It's one of those parks that actually has made a name for itself outside of its region. And there's not that many parks out there that aren't already resorts that have done that. So I think it's time for Carowinds to make that next step and make it a big destination park. It already is, but to make it even bigger, I think it's great to hear.
Yeah, I definitely could see it becoming a destination park like Cedar Point. Maybe not to the same. I mean, Cedar Point has a lot of the environmental things like the beach and
Yes,
that type of thing. Carowinds isn't ever going to have that type of thing, but it can certainly be a destination. I could actually see the area turning into somewhat like Pigeon Forge, where other things pop up around it.
Yeah.
And you get more of that, like, hey, you come here and spend some time,
spend a couple days,
but again,
spend the weekend.
Yeah. But even on that side, Pigeon Forge has the mountains and stuff. I mean, I think that's one of the things is the Charlotte area is kind of missing that environment thing, but to at least some extent, Carowinds is in the perfect position geographically to pull people in from a lot. It's like it's far enough away from Florida that it's a benefit to, like, people that don't want people that are too far from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh wait, well now we can go to the Charlotte area, and I could see Carowinds playing an important part of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Especially for summer trips.
Yeah.
I know, like, it gets kind of colder there. I mean, it's certainly not what we deal with in Virginia or Pennsylvania or further up north, but I could certainly see them being open year round. I do wonder though how busy they would actually be as far as a resort.
And how would their coasters operate? Because I know they close majority of their coasters during the winter season as it is right now. I don't know if they'd be able to operate them in the cold temperatures.
Well, so that's the question though. Do they close them because of the cold temperatures, or do they close them just because of their maintenance schedule?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering as well. But that would be seen with this year-round park. We would see that.
Right. If you change that, you're going to start operating like the Florida parks do.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have the ability of, if you're going to be running this park through the winter, you can actually adapt the rides to handle those temperatures if you want to put the investment into doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that would be an interesting thing. And I would wonder if maybe if they were to make this a year-round park, theoretically, let's say next year or the year before, maybe they would still operate it as normal, close the rides and things like that, and then slowly but surely, every year maybe another coaster gets that type of treatment where they are able to run in the cold, and then it's up to all the coasters can now operate in the cold. It would be interesting to see that process, or if they would just right off the bat, let's open up every coaster in winter, or would they slowly do it? Or I would wonder how that process would work, because that's a pretty big step to becoming a seasonal park and then just jumping into year round. I mean, that's a pretty large step.
Oh yeah. I mean, just changing the maintenance schedules alone is a big deal. Now you're getting into that point where we have to close coasters periodically.
Yeah. So I don't know. It would be an interesting process to witness, to behold there, and it's great to hear, because I mean I remember for a long time hearing the rumor that Carowinds would become the Cedar Point of the South, and it's good to hear that dream is still alive. It's still flourishing. I wondered if that had kind of died out some, but I mean this really reimburses that rumor that it will become one of the next largest Cedar Fair parks. So talking about Adventureland now, park in Iowa, they have a new coaster that is confirmed now. We have supports on location. There was a rumor for a while going around that they were getting a new coaster. They teased, that one of their, I believe,
Dragon Slayer.
Yes, that was the teasing of it, and people were like, whenever they do teasing, it's a roller coaster, so this must be a roller coaster, and it is confirmed now. And the supports look to be SNS. That's what everyone's kind of gravitating towards.
Yeah.
Many believe it's a free spin, but there's also some people that are thinking maybe an Axis coaster, because that was something that we saw SNS develop. And I mean, in the footprint of Adventureland, it could fit. It could work.
That would be an interesting thing. Could you imagine though the first like people want to ride the Axis and all of a sudden like the first one is built at this smaller park like in Iowa? Um,
That would be it
that's
would be a bit of a it's a bit in the middle of nowhere. It's not something you can
yeah.
just it's not something you can just swing by on your trip to, wherever, fill in the blank.
But think about it. That would be great for the park.
Yeah.
I mean, it would really put them on the map. People would, certainly, the people that aren't aware of the park would certainly become aware of it. I think it's a possibility. I don't know that I buy the free spin thing. I don't know. It could be. I'm not sold on that. Like, there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, this is definitely a free spin." There's no doubt in my mind, and I can't go all in on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's of course a possibility, but I don't think there's enough evidence that says this is a free spin. I think that S&S is likely. The supports look like an S&S design. So I think there's that possibility. I mean, could this even just be the one when I was comparing supports, we didn't actually look at Chance.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
I wonder how they compare to Chance's supports.
That's interesting. Chance Hyper GTX.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
No.
that would be phenomenal.
That would be pretty crazy if that would be if I think we're talking about putting them on the map. I think every coach enthusiast may make it down there half if there's even a chance of it being a Hyper GTX.
You know what? The supports actually look fairly similar.
Yeah, I'm looking at it too. That
Lightning.
Yeah, I mean they
I could see that.
Yeah, I mean they definitely do.
Yeah, because if you look at
there's circular
some of the lightning. Yeah, the Lightning Run airtime hills where the two sections of the support bolt together, they look almost exactly like the support.
They just look thinner though. They don't look as thick in my mind still.
Well, also, if you look through all the pictures of Lightning Run, there are various different thicknesses of support.
That's true. Very true.
So, we're obviously not looking at every support on the coaster. So
we'll see when the track gets here, because that should be pretty soon, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah.
And that'll confirm it for sure, and we'll definitely give you an update on that. But, yeah, that's definitely a possibility there.
I think that looks a lot. If you look at those connection points of the higher supports where the support sections bolt together, that is exactly what those supports look like.
Yeah, I mean, and I think these manufacturers use very similar support designs. So
right, and S&S is certainly a possibility as well. But I mean, you think about a smaller park, like a Hyper GTX. I mean, enthusiasts have been talking about that for years.
Where was the next one going to go, man? We need one.
Right, it's perfect for smaller parks because it's cheaper and they can afford it and still get the thrill out of it. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, wishful thinking here, but we're hoping that would be awesome. That would be fantastic. All right, so we're gonna do something that we haven't done in a while here. It's been about I think a month or two since our last random roller coaster RCDB extravaganza. We're gonna do that when we get back from this break.
Austin, if it would be a thrill version of Merlin's Mayhem, I will personally pay to have a Coaster Talk podcast t-shirt made for you. I would love that. I'm now like all of a sudden on this Chance thing, because I don't know that no, Steel Curtain has the same bolt together patterns. This really could be either Chance or
Pam. If you're watching us on the live stream, again, you're commenting on the video, not on the live chat. She just said hi like 5 times on the comment section. You have to go to the live chat, Pam. Hopefully you heard that.
Oh, you know what? I didn't stop my audio. Crap. I just did now.
Bobby.
Should I try to delete some, or I don't know.
I would prefer yes. That would be great if you could try at least. I'll be right back.
All right. Hey, Austin, have you actually rode Merlin's Mayhem? Yeah, she's been on it before. I don't know why. I don't know why it's all of a sudden a problem.
Pam's live chat.
She's actually been on it before. Yeah, it's a good Dutch Wonderland. You can stop. I mean, it really would be a quick stop just to ride Merlin's Mayhem and Kingdom Coaster.
Get back from this break.
And I forget what their little kiddie one is. I mean, it's a kiddie park. Although if you do stop, go in the if you've never been in a haunted swing, make sure you go in the Dutch Wonder House. It's really fun. It's really unique.
Oh, yeah, we talked about Wait, me and Timmy talked about how when we go back to Knoebels this year, we're doing the haunted house. You're gonna come with us.
Oh my god, I don't know.
Because we didn't even do it last year because you didn't want to. We were like, we'll just stay at the park with Bob. We want to hang out with you. So since we didn't get to do it last year, well, you have to do it this year. That's payback.
All right, hold on. Don't talk for a second. I need to figure out.
Shut up.
I was like listening to the audio. I'm like, oh wait, now I don't know where we are. I don't know. Oh, Ravine Flyer 2, man.
Phoenix.
He's talking. Well, yeah, that too. But
I haven't been on Ravine Flyer 2 yet, so.
And I don't know where we.
I need to get up there. I need to get up to Waldameer.
Yeah, that's right. You've never been to Waldameer.
We stopped at about 31 minutes and 58 seconds. That's where we stopped about.
31 minutes?
58 seconds. Around there. I don't know if you started a little bit, like a second or two later than me, but...
Okay. See, the problem is you talk and end the segment.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't hear that in mine.
All right, but just at 31 minutes.
Hold on. I think maybe 33. Yeah, it must be 33 on my side. I don't know. That's where you'll have to put it together. Yeah, I have 3 monitors, so I was looking up. Up there is where my Audacity screen is.
And I love the people. They're always like, "Where is he looking?"
I know. Well, if I get the new webcam, hopefully will be more obvious.
Because mine's like right here, so even if I'm looking right here, it's like I'm still looking at the screen. I'm still looking at the webcam.
Yeah, that's the problem with mine is built into one monitor. All right, I'm gonna kill it at 3305, and hopefully that's.
Don't kill it, Bob.
Right.
I just had a joke I thought of. That would not be appropriate right now. Never mind.
Then shut your mouth.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. That would be a good joke for like Quiplash or something, but not.
All right, I think I'm good. Hopefully you can figure out how to piece it together.
We're all good in the neighborhood.
Just if you want to make a note, right around 3305 on my stream is where the segment ended.
All right, I'll remember that. All right, ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Let me get our CDB up first, actually. Now we're ready. All right.
Wait, hold on. I got to delete audio again because you said let's go. All right, are you really ready this time? Yes, no, maybe so.
All right, guys, so... I'm just kidding.
What?
I love it. All right, now I'm actually ready. Are you ready?
Hold on one second.
I'll introduce it. You'll do the first random roller coaster, okay?
All right, starting in 3, 2.
So RCDB has this function. The front page of the website is a random roller coaster generator. It generates a random roller coaster from across the globe. It could be a wacky worm, could be an Intamin Giga. That's how random this thing is. And a couple months ago, we actually did this exact segment where we just went on RCDB, clicked a random roller coaster, and saw what we got. We tried to explain in the best detail of what we got. Sometimes they were weird and wacky and funny and hilarious, and sometimes they were normal and just plain and simple roller coasters that we've all ridden and love. So we're going to do that again for you guys this week. We're going to do this, I would say there'll be, whenever we feel like we want to do this will be something that we do. It's just another installment of the random roller coasters brought to you by RCDB. Bob, do you got a first random roller coaster for us?
I will in a second. First, I want to explain that what we're going to do is we're going to give the RCDB ID number of the coaster we're looking at. So if you want to go and look at the coaster we're looking at,
and follow along,
you'll just use that ID. It'll basically be rcdb.com/ID, whatever it is, .htm. And you can certainly figure that out from the format of just clicking on a coaster.
Indeed.
But we'll give you that ID, and then you'll be able to look at what we're looking at as well.
Yeah, if you're more of a visual person, you're not an audio person, and you want to physically see what we're talking about and follow along. But I think maybe at first you try to listen along with the descriptions, because sometimes that's just as fun and wacky to try to figure out what we're talking about.
Yeah, I've certainly heard it's actually a lot of fun for just even to listen. So, all right, let me pull up a random one here and see what we get. Oh, good. We got ID 805, which is a Vekoma SLC.
Ah, good. Good way to start off.
What is there to say? It's a Vekoma SLC.
Oh my God! Tell them the name of the coaster, though. That is great.
It's called Traumatized. I was waiting for you to see that to get your response.
That is so fitting. So fitting. Oh my God! That should just be the name of all of them. All of them should be named
now.
That.
And it looks like it does not have vest restraint, so I have no real serious interest in trying to ride this.
I have no doubt that it does traumatize you.
Yes, it. But you might not remember it, depending on how bad your head bounces.
Yeah, might get your mind erased.
Yes. Some parks should name it Mind Eraser.
Man, I feel like they're missing out on that.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is at Southport Pleasureland, but of course, we all know what an SLC is.
Yep, and I actually just got, I believe, the SLC knockoff from the Chinese knockoff of an SLC. It's just called Suspended Coaster, and plain and simply.
What's the ID?
In China, the ID is 14371. It is called Suspended Coaster. It is a knockoff of the Vekoma SLCs. This is the Amusement Rides Manufacturing Company. That's pretty great.
Oh, but it's not a Golden Horse.
It's not. No, it's not. This is pretty great. 2 SLCs in a row, Bob. Or 1 SLC and a suspended roller coaster, should we say? They don't call this an SLC, but yeah, this is just this is at the Window of the World Chinese park in
Look at the restraints, man.
Oh, wow.
It's like the sumo wrestler version of a restraint.
Oh, they do
That's
have
insane.
Well, some of the SLCs, they do have similar type restraints like that. I know on like Flight Deck at Canada's Wonderland, they're heavily padded like that. I don't know to that extent, but
not to that extent.
Yeah, but that's pretty
crazy.
The padding on it is pretty crazy.
Necessary, yeah. I'm sure, especially if this is a knockoff.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe this one should have been Traumatizer. You got to switch the names up on these.
Know. Wow. All right. Let's see if we can get a good one here. Come on, RCDB. Give us something not an SLC style. Oh, we got Montezuma's Revenge.
Oh, great.
The ID is 292. I mean, I think most people know this one too.
Hopefully.
We're not getting any really bizarre stuff yet.
Not yet. Hopefully that comes later.
I haven't actually rode Montezuma's Revenge, but
neither have I.
did ride Laser, and I loved Laser Loop. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a Schwarzkopf.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong.
Someone we talk about quite a bit. We've talked about Anton Schwarzkopf a couple episodes ago. If you want to re-listen to that episode where we did a full rundown of the history of Anton's company and what they built and rides like that. But Montezuma's Revenge came up. It was the first coaster to utilize a flywheel launch system, and it looks like an incredible ride. I've heard some great things.
Yeah, it's definitely a really fun ride. I mean, judging by Laser Loop, I certainly enjoy it and enjoyed it, I should say. You can still ride Laser Loop. It's in Mexico somewhere, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Austin says it's the last Schwarzkopf shuttle looper in the U.S., and I think he might be right. I don't know. I haven't confirmed that, but I can't think of any others.
I wouldn't doubt that. Yeah, I would not doubt that. Well, this sucks. I got a another recognizable name. We got Shambhala at Portaventura in Spain. This is the big B&M hypercoaster that many claim to be one of the best B&M hyper coasters out there. Looks great. I am so looking forward to getting on this ride. It's a beautiful ride. It looks incredible. Yeah, so that's my take on it. It looks great. Can't wait to get on it when I go to Spain.
I love the paint job on it.
Mm-hmm.
Paint looks really cool.
Incredible.
I like that.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, and that ID was 10239, but I'm sure you could have found it. All right. You know, we go on RCDB and it's always like these really, really crazy, bizarre coasters that we get. Why aren't we getting them?
I think this is a good, for people that have never listened to this segment, maybe this is a good intro to what it's all about. And then when we get into some weird rides, maybe then.
Okay. We got, no, it's not really that weird. It's a Zero Tivoli, pretty standard coaster. It's got an interesting paint job. The ID number is 3100. It is in the Netherlands at Dippy-Doo.
It's removed. It has been removed, though, since.
Oh, then. Yes. Yeah, it has. I missed that.
Operated from 2005 to 2013. You cannot go ride this, but Z-Slang. I don't know if that means anything. It's a snake train, so maybe that is something in Dutch for snake or for slither or venom. I don't know what exactly this is or what this is themed of. Yeah, this is just if you Catwoman's whip at the Six Flags Great Adventure. Have you ridden that? And they have
they have a really happy dragon in the middle.
Yeah, they do.
Almost too happy.
But if you've ridden any of those type of rides.
Oh, and you get to go right under his tail. No, not his tail. It's a snake. I mean,
yeah.
Is it a snake or?
No, it's a dragon. I believe it looks like a dragon.
Is it a dragon?
It's a weird.
Look at the tail. Like there's so many different parts to the tail.
Yeah, it looks like it's like going. It's going underneath. It's like the ground and then coming back out.
Well, yeah, but like it doesn't. I don't know. It looks like a snake now.
Theoretically, I think. I don't know what they're going for here. The train is a snake. Maybe the snake is fighting the dragon. I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's it. They look too happy, though.
I don't know.
Maybe it's a happy fight.
Maybe it's just random Dutch theming that doesn't make any sense.
It could be. I don't know.
Very
interesting.
All right. Well, I got something interesting. It looks like ID 15523. It is called London Loop. It's at the Global Village in Dubai. And, yeah, it looks interesting to say the very least. The front of the trains, I'm having
What has Vekoma done here?
I'm trying to figure out what is on the front of these trains. It looks like some sort of, like, is it a clown? I think it's a clown, but I can't tell if it's like an animal clown or if it's just a regular clown.
It looks like a brain.
Yeah, I know, but it's like an afro. It has like a multicolored afro. London Loop. The London Loop. I don't know what this has to do with London.
To the headlights.
What does this have to do with London either? This is a strange... this is definitely...
loop? There's no loop.
This looks like a family ride. This looks like one of the...
But it's a shuttle.
It's a Vekoma family boomerang. Yeah, it's one of the new Vekoma boomerang, family boomerang coasters that they've been building.
Oh, this is actually the first one of those I've actually seen.
Yeah, so... It looks...
Are there many of these out there yet?
There are.
I've heard of them. But...
I think we actually talked about that one of these on a show a while ago. Because I remember we looked at like a bunch of them, and there was a bunch of them around. I think there's one at I can't remember the park now, but there was one that a park we were talking about. Yeah, Phantasialand. That's what we were talking about that a couple weeks ago, or not even, maybe a couple months ago, and we brought that up. So because we were like, wow, that's really well themed for a family. We were talking about Terran, and then we talked about their family boomerang there as well. So yeah, this is ID number what is it again? It is
15523.
15523. Yes, there it is. So yeah, it's interesting to say the least if you want to check that out.
Dubai Village. Yeah, this is actually, and so they actually used the booster wheel on this.
Mm-hmm.
That's hopefully there's like, what happens if the booster wheel just keeps going? Does it push you off the edge?
I don't know.
I don't know. That's kind of like, if you have a chain lift, at least it can't go anymore.
Yeah.
A booster wheel could keep pushing.
For
I don't
sure.
know. Interesting.
For sure.
All right, let's see what I get here.
Come on, baby.
SBF Visa Group.
Great.
Guess what it is?
A Giga Coaster.
It's ID 9147.
1947.
Yeah. You might be shocked. It goes in a figure 8. Actually, wait, no.
Does it?
I am wrong. This is not a SBF Visa spinner. It looks like for the picture, but it is not. It is called Speedy Coaster. It's at Sparky's Family Fun Center in Abu Dhabi. And
it's just a regular.
It is a figure 8. But it is actually a mine train coaster.
It just takes the same layout as the spinners without spinning.
It's the exact same thing, except it doesn't spin.
Yeah, that's literally it. That's the only difference here. So just picture. You don't.
I didn't know they made.
Don't waste your time.
I didn't know they had a model for this.
This is operated from 2009 to 2010, and then from 2010 to 2016. So it's no longer operating. I don't know if this is maybe something that they discontinued, or what. Because I have not heard of these being produced or seen any of these elsewhere. But that's interesting to see a. I'm so used to seeing.
I never knew they made a. I mean, maybe they just have just produced so many of the spinners that everybody just forgot about all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, there you can check it out. 9147.
Yep.
Can we get a funny one here? Come on, RCDB.
Well, the roller coaster I got. His name is Roller Coaster. It's in China, and it is a Togo sit-down looping coaster. So, this is somewhat interesting, definitely. I love how Togo did their supports for their corkscrews. I love how it's just the spine of the track coming out. I love that.
Yeah, that is unique. I actually really like the paint job on this.
Yeah, I do too. ID number 1393. So if you want to. Go along with us, or if you just like hearing our descriptions. Nothing too crazy with this ride, but it looks like almost, I can't tell from this picture, but does it? Oh no, I can't know. Is that? It looks like in one of the images that part of the spine of the track is coming out of the lift hill almost. I can't even. Is that? Am I seeing that correctly?
Out of the lift hill?
No, it must be just the angle.
No,
yeah, no, it's not. It looked like for a second I was like, wow, that looks pretty impressive then. It's not.
That spine, I don't know that I've ever seen this spine.
Yeah.
Like how they did the corkscrew. That's really unique and interesting.
I think it's beautiful.
It's just it's basically like, it looks almost like there's a completely extra piece of track that kind of goes opposing the corkscrew itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, and
yeah, so it does a loop and does 2 corkscrews, and then it goes back home.
It's almost like a
bunny hop.
It's almost like Togo's version of corkscrew.
Yeah, and they don't know when it opened. It seems.
It opened. It opened from ? To 2011.
So it's removed now, but that's interesting. All right. Well,
? Don't you remember that year well?
It was yeah.
Feels like it was yesterday.
I feel like that's going to be 2020. It's just going to be ?
We don't know what the heck happened that year.
The sad part is we're not even halfway. Well, I guess we are. We're just halfway through now. All right, let's see. We got number 3225.
3225.
It is called Roller Coaster. It's made by a company called Saucon. I don't know if that's correct or not. It's in Vietnam. It is the model is single helix left.
And
looks kind of like a zero.
I can't tell what these
with an amazing amount of rust all over this thing.
Looks like just one of those dragon coasters that you ride at like the boardwalk beach parks.
Dude, it has the Roller Coaster Tycoon logo on the loading station.
Does it? Does it?
If that's not something to talk, it absolutely does.
All right, guys, breaking news.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, it does.
Trying to see what it says though. It's like roller coaster, but it doesn't say Tycoon. It says something else. It's totally the what Roller Coaster Tycoon logo though.
ID number 3225, guys. If you've forgotten it, I'm trying to look it up with us. Yeah, you can't see that well, but yeah.
Is this thing in an operable? Oh, the train is on the track. Wow, there's a lot of. Look at the control panel rust. I mean, maybe that's steaming.
This has to be some sort of very old attraction. This does not look. I know it says it just started in 2017, but.
Okay, now here's another question for you. How do these seatbelts work?
Let me see. Let me look. Oh,
I don't understand what's going on.
They look like shoulder, like they go over your shoulder. Oh, and then the lap bars too. What the heck?
It is literally tied to where the headrest should be, but there.
Yeah.
Wait, is that a lap bar?
Yeah.
Oh, that is a lap bar over there. Oh my God. But the seatbelt is literally just tied in a knot
on the seatbelt
around the back. Like, what the heck is going on here?
That is weird. That is weird to say the least.
Wow.
And I love that.
Look, there's a website on the control panel.
I love the
email is sawconpro@yahoo.com.vn. The website is www.saucon.vn. It's SAUCON.vn. And let's see what happens here.
Let's see what happens when Bob researches that website.
Service unavailable.
Are we surprised?
HTTP error 503. The service is unavailable.
Are we that surprised though?
No, not not at all.
No, we're not. Well, I got an interesting one to talk about. Some really good theming here. This is gonna make Bob very upset, probably. I don't know if you could tell by just the name itself. It's Volcano.
It's a volcano.
It's a volcano mine
It's made by Golden Horse. Look at this. Even Golden Horse can make a volcano.
So this is in China. I don't know how you pronounce this.
10299.
Yeah, it's 10299 is the ID. Vesuvio volcano. Vesuvio. I don't know if that's Italian or what. Vesuvio volcano. This is at Fanta Wild Adventure in China. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the city it's located in. It's like 3 names, and I'm not even going to attempt that. Golden Horse, like Bob said, mine coaster, and yeah, I mean, there's a full volcano built around this thing. Really great theming. It looks like.
Unfortunately, you do not shoot out through the top.
Yeah, that sucks.
It is good theming, though.
It's very good theming. Yeah, I mean, and even looking at one of the images here, how it's set up, it almost looks like this volcano is like almost the field of depth almost looks like it is an actual volcano. Like, I know when you obviously volcano at King's Dominion was built to that scale replica of looking like an actual volcano, so it was a large structure. This is a smaller volcano, but if you look at I don't know, Bob, if you can look at image number 14, if you're following along with us, and if Bob wants to look at this image number 14, it actually, like the field of death, it almost makes it look like there is that large volcano back there, which is really cool.
Yeah, it does. And I love the theming of like the wooden buildings. And,
yeah,
and just like
this looks like a really cool ride. Yeah, this is something that I actually like. If I went to China, I would want to check out.
Like this would be. I would love to see Aero build something like this.
Mm-hmm. I would have loved to see them build something like this. Definitely.
It also kind of gives me certain vibes of Lost Coaster.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't read Velocicoaster, but there's like certain aspects of it that kind of feel like that.
And one of the images, guess what's in the background? One of the images. There's a Vekoma SLC. I love it.
Of course there is.
I love it.
Or is it a Vekoma or is it a Golden Horse?
I don't know. Can it really be a Chinese park without some form of SLC? I don't think it can be.
Let's find out.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Flare Meteor?
Let's.
Is Flare Meteor, and it is a Golden Horse suspended roller coaster. All right, let me see what I get here. Oh, this is an interesting one. The ID is 1107, called Mirage Rosso. Zoo Safari Fasanolandi. It's made by Fabry.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not really sure what's going on here.
Oh,
it's like a suspended coaster.
3 seats.
This is one. Fabry is just a genius on this. They are I think they're the only ones that said, you know what would be a great idea? Everybody goes to the park with a riding partner. So what would happen if we did 3 across seating and just screw the whole system up?
And then 3 there's only 3 cars too. There's only 3 cars per train, only 3 individual rows per train.
Right. So you can't, it's not even an even number of seats. So even if one pair splits up, you still can't fit all pairs.
And what is it with, why is like the entire coaster, the track is banking? There's not like one section of unbanked track here.
Well, I mean, I think for me personally, I think that's a great idea. I hate straight track.
I do too, but I've never like, even the drop is like literally coming off the drop, you're banking. Like, it's just weird. I've never seen.
Honestly, this layout kind of reminds me of Adventure Park's. I forget what it's called. The one in the back.
Not sure.
Is it called Tornado?
This is ID number 1107, guys. Anyone that hasn't been able to follow along, either just FYI. I'm not 100% sure. Adventure Park USA, are you talking about, or?
Yes, Adventure Park USA, Wild West Express. That's what I'm thinking. It's a Zamperla windstorm, but the layout kind of gives me vibes of that, only in a suspended form. It's very interesting. This is one of those. Sometimes you get those coasters that are like, this is really odd, and there's no way I'd ever go on it. But this one, I would really, really like to try. This would be fun. I would like to ride this. I think it might be terrible. It might be fun. I'm not sure, but it looks like fun. The 3 across seating though, that is the biggest thing. Like, what? Who thought that one up?
That really is just unbelievable. That doesn't make any sense, any logical sense. I don't know anyone that goes, hey, let's get our group of 3 and go ride. It's just groups of 4 makes sense. You can fit.
Right, but like, that's the thing. I'm sure that, there's been times where I've gone in groups of 3, just because that's what I have. But you always figure it out based on pairs.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, like if you're that one rare group that actually has 3, it's glorious. But I mean, it looks like there were only ever 3 of these made. They're the Fabry Astral, and this one, and there's also another one called Anaconda at Fantasy World, that in Kazakhstan, that is also
yes, the roller coaster capital of the world, Kazakhstan.
That's where
that's where I want to be.
So only two operating. It looks like there were only 3 of these ever made, and only 2 remain operating.
Oh, all right, Bob. I got a great one, and I think this is a good one to end off our random roller coaster adventure on RCDB with. ID number 12811. It's called the Vitor roller coaster. It's in China again. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the cities it's located in. It's at
What the hell?
Floorland Continental Park, and it looks like almost like they tried to do like a miniature Schwarzkopf here.
What is going on with that loop?
I don't know. It's like a little mini loop. It's like a baby loop. This loop is like 10 feet tall. It's like a baby vertical loop.
And you know what it actually reminds me of?
It looks like a baby Schwarzkopf.
Blue Flash.
Yeah, it is. It's like they tried to make an actual like real version of like an industry standard version of it. I mean, it almost looks like they tried to rip off Schwarzkopf a little bit.
It does. Like the support structure definitely looks like Schwarzkopf.
And even the trains, other than like not the actual train design, but like the trains themselves are the three train, like the three cars with two rows per car. This is funny. This is this is a great one too.
But it also kind of looks back to that Zamperla Windstorm. There's vibes of that as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And vibes of a Zero Tivoli. Like I don't like this is like let's take little pieces of like everything and see what happens.
I just love that little baby.
It's like the AMC
loop.
Eagle of roller coasters.
I don't think I've ever seen a vertical loop.
Do you have any spare parts? Hey Zamperla, do you have any spare parts? We want to put them all together. That's a big Ferris wheel in the background, though.
And this was designed by the small. I don't even know, Wuhan. Oh my God, Wuhan Fute Amusement Rides.
It's a small vertical ring roller coaster.
Oh my gosh.
What's the vertical?
I don't even know.
Where does vertical come into play here?
Small vertical ring roller coaster. I don't know if they're calling the vertical loop a small vertical ring.
Oh, is that what? Maybe that's what
they're classifying this as. I don't know. This is weird. It's funny. It's a good way to end off our random roller coaster adventure on RCDB. It was a lot of fun. I love doing that. We definitely do that more often. I love.
In case you care, it runs on 380 volts AC, 50 hertz, of course.
Yeah, I mean that was fun. That was one of the funniest things I've seen. That was it was like a little miniature
40
baby,
kilowatts.
Little baby vertical loop. I love it. I love that. That was great. And sticking with the theme of we were in China and in Japan with a lot of these roller coasters. We were talking about a lot of the unusual rides that we were discussing in the RCDB Random Roller Coaster Extravaganza there. Japan, as a theme park association, the actual East and West Japan Theme Park Association, which consists of Tokyo Disneyland, Disney Sea, Universal Studios Japan, and others, are proposing the idea of banning screaming and shouting and cheering on roller coasters in the parks. We talked about this on last week's show. If you want to hear our full in-depth thoughts on that. Our question for the audience this week was, do you think it's possible for people to not scream on a roller coaster? Is it possible, and can the parks enforce it? So there was a little bit of a two-question part there. You could kind of answer it as one question because it kind of gels together to form one question. We got quite a few responses. I will say we did a poll with actual voting yes or no, and before I read the actual written-in responses, 26 votes for no, 6 votes for yes. So 81% said no, you cannot ask people to not scream. It's not possible for it to happen, and the parks cannot enforce that. And then 19% said yes. So there is a small minority of people that do think it. It was not a fully, one-sided. It was pretty much one-sided, but there were a few, 6 people that believed it was possible.
I don't understand the logic of how you think. I mean, yes, there's certainly some people that can stop screaming, but I mean, if you're scaring people, yeah, like I don't know. There's certain people out there that I just don't think there's any way.
Here's someone's response that said yes. He said that, and this is more of an argument of you should know prior to. He said people should know what makes them scream or not, and not ride if that's the rules. So he's kind of arguing on the basis of this rule is already being enforced. We're kind of asking more on the basis of could they even enforce the rule. Like, how would they? I mean, you can't. If people pay admission to your park and want to ride a roller coaster, they should be able to scream on a ride. So he's kind of saying, hey, people should know what makes them scream and just not ride it. But I'm saying, if you're paying admission to a park and you're going to a park and you want to go on the roller coaster, you should be able to and be able to scream. I mean, that's just absurd.
But even so, I mean, even as an enthusiast, there have been times where I've rode a coaster that I haven't rode before that something really, like, just I was not expecting. Now, I don't scream. Like, I never really have screamed. That's just me. I just don't scream. I usually just laugh more. But, for somebody that, like, does scream, like, their instinct is to scream if they get scared. Like, you don't know what that's going to feel like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can understand the argument there. Like, okay, this is the rules. So if you think that you can't, you can't hold your screaming in, you shouldn't ride. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like, you don't always know that up front. Because I mean, if it's a ride you haven't rode before, you don't know what's coming.
Yeah, and the majority of the written responses were saying yes. So another response was, this is more of him just stating his opinion out loud. I'm not going to Japan, I guess, because screaming is half the fun. So I mean, yeah. Sometimes I do scream. Sometimes I will scream. So I definitely can agree with that sometimes screaming is part of the excitement of riding. Showing your emotion, showing your joy and this is a great way to do it, is to ride roller coasters. You can't just go around going, yeah, woo, screaming, walking around your neighborhood or something like that. On roller coasters, it's a normal thing to just let it loose, let it, scream, have fun, be loud, and that's just, I just think that takes away, like he said, half of the fun. And then someone else responded, people scream on roller coasters. It happens. So
it does.
Yeah, he's just,
it does happen.
So, and he's saying, I think he's saying there's no way to really stop it, no way to really enforce it.
Yeah, exactly.
Another response was, it's people's natural instinct to scream. To take that away is like asking a human not to breathe, almost. I don't know if it's that extreme. I feel like subconsciously, if you really tried hard, you could probably stop. I don't think that's the thing is, and I think Bob and me kind of, we see somewhat, I know he's saying it's like an autonomic reaction that, just happens, but I think if you really are attempting, you could control it, but you shouldn't have to, you should not go to a theme park and have to be in that mindset of, all right, I have to be completely, I cannot open my mouth, I have to sit here, I have to ride the ride, and that's it. That is not the type of mindset you're in at a theme park.
But think of it this way, though. If you're breathing is an autonomic response, but you are able to stop breathing to an extent. And I think that's the point. A lot of people can keep themselves from screaming to an extent, but then there's that point where it just becomes too much, and the autonomic, like you're no longer able to suppress that autonomic response.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see if that's a science behind it.
I'm certainly not saying it's everybody.
And I would like to see if there's a science behind it.
Stop.
I would like to see if there's like some sort of science behind it that actually justifies that claim. Because I mean, it makes logical sense, but I would wonder if maybe there is an actual way to suppress that screaming. I don't know. There is no. This is just bouncing off of each other's ideas here. No, basis of information truly, but.
Yeah,
I would imagine that that's probably true, but I feel like it would be very possible to, I mean, like you said, stop breathing for a little bit. I mean, some people can hold their breath 5-6 minutes, and I'm not saying everyone can. Obviously, I know there's some people that can't even hold it for 20 seconds, but I think if contained properly, if in the right mindset, if you go in and you are 100% focused on not screaming, you can probably do it, but I don't think that you should be in that mindset at a theme park. That's not the point. You go into a theme park, for anybody, not even just coaster enthusiasts, is an escape. It's an escape to this fantasy world where, if it's a theme park, definitely a fantasy world, but even an amusement park, it's still, it's not part of this country. It's not a part of this, it's not a part of your life. You can escape anything that's going on in your life. You can go ride a roller coaster, you can go ride a flat ride, and it's almost like nothing else is happening. And I don't think you should be in the mindset of, all right, let me close my mouth. Let me not think about anything. I can't scream. That's just unfair almost. That kind of defeats the purpose of riding a roller coaster. So
yeah, even
regardless of whether or not we agree with the science.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. It's just not fair.
And so whether or not we 100% agree with the science behind it, I think I 100% agree that it's not something that should be even considered. I mean, it's not fair. And again, another response is a natural reaction to people who are actually scared of the coaster. And I definitely agree that it is a natural response to scream. I think you can stop the response, but that is, again, yet to be proven.
I think it's only the majority of people that can stop that response. I think there are people in existence that can't.
But I don't know if I don't know. I would be interested to see if any research is done behind this, because I would like to know, like, if an actual person has done a study on, like, people that can scream and can't scream on roller coasters,
I mean, think about it this way. If you go, like, haunted house stuff, people jumping out at you, there are people that, like, there's...
Well, I think that's a different type of being scared, though.
What's that?
That's like a different type of being scared. That is just prone to...
The thing is that's a more extreme. But to some people, riding a roller coaster is at that same exact level. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's all about where your comfort zone is and how far out you're getting pushed and what scares you and what shocks you and how your body responds to that.
And I would even say, though, that I would believe that you could probably not scream in a haunted house. I have done it before, even when I was being scared. I think it would be possible.
Oh crap!
I have done it.
There's no way. I'm not a screamer, and yeah, I've certainly screamed in, like, there's no way stuff. Well, I mean, even when we were watching Us, I mean.
Yeah, you get scared of a lot of... You get jump scares. You get jump scares, definitely.
Right, and, like, that's the thing. That's where I'm pushed way out of my comfort zone. Some people are pushed out of their comfort zone more on a coaster. That's the whole point. So
I just think life or death. If it was like a life or death situation, I could definitely see pretty much everyone getting on a roller coaster and not screaming. I could definitely see it. I can imagine it. I mean, I'm just theoretically... Someone puts a gun to your head and says, ride this roller coaster without screaming. I think everyone could do it and not scream. So I'm just saying, in that mindset, if you're really going that hard and really trying that hard to be focused on it, and you're like, holy crap, and that's, again, I don't think you should be in that mindset when you're at a theme park. But if the extreme is, something like that, you'll get kicked out of the park or something like that. I don't know what the rules they're going to enforce are and how they're going to enforce it, or if they're even going to, I don't know if this was just a proposal. This wasn't, I don't know if it was ever confirmed or not, but I think theoretically, I would imagine everyone could, in a life or death situation, not scream on a roller coaster, and that's just where I'm going with it.
When you get to a life or death situation, now you're dealing with extremes on the other end, so you have...
Well, I think if the extreme is you get kicked out of the park. I think if the extreme is even you get kicked out of the park if you scream on the ride. A majority, I think everyone's not going to be screaming on the ride. I have a feeling.
I mean, sure, some, but I think there's still going to be there's going to be those couple of people that just can't. Either way, like, how are you gonna, like, what are you gonna do? Like, monitor? How do you monitor? Is like, yeah, that's the 6th row, right side. Like, you don't know.
This whole train. Sorry, one of you guys messed it up for the whole bunch. You're all out of here.
Yeah, you're all kicked out. Jeez.
Great way to create a connection with your guests there. Hey,
yeah.
We love you guys, but you guys all get kicked out because one person screamed on a roller coaster. And then the last response we got was, plain and simply, terror cannot be enforced. So I guess he's saying that, you can't enforce, like I'm saying, you shouldn't be in that mindset when you're at a park. It shouldn't be a life or death thing. It shouldn't be that extreme. So, yeah, that's the gist of it. I think we all pretty much agree on that. No one, again, there were a few that said yes. 6 people said yes. I'd be interesting to hear more of their side of things. So if anyone that's listening to this wants to share their opinions, I mean, let us know, because that's something that I would love to hear, like why you think that it, like obviously not the autonomic response, because that is definitely, arguable in terms of science, but in terms of parks enforcing it and stuff, like how do you think they can enforce it, and why would you think they would do that kind of thing? I don't know. I would love to hear more of a response from the yeses. So that is it for last week's weekly poll. This week's weekly poll is plain and simply something that we talked about earlier. Do you believe that Kings Island is justified in suing the Ohio Health Department? And again, this is definitely one that I could see going both ways, and that's why we chose it for this week's poll, because there's going to be a lot of yeses, there's going to be a lot of no's. I can just foresee that happening now. And you got to think about more of the reasoning behind it, why they did it, what the Ohio Health Department did, things like that, more than just, because plain and simply, I think if they did this in a context of Ohio never opened any businesses, and they were just all of a sudden like, we want to open, we're suing you, obviously that would be terrible. So just think about context, and even you might think, even in the context it's in, that Kings Island's not justified. So let us know. We'll also leave a box for you to respond with a description of why your vote. So either yes or no, yay or nay. You can leave a little bit of a description on your vote and why you chose what you chose. So Bob, something big is going to happen, but want to tune into that for this week's show. But I do want to give a disclaimer to check in on next week's show, because it's going to be something fun, something good going on there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
So yeah, that's about it for this week's show, episode number 76. A lot of fun this week, a lot of good stuff we talked about. Parks are reopening, always good to hear. Japan enforcing some strange rules. But again, if you want to answer this week's weekly poll coming up, again, about Kings Island and their justification of their lawsuit against the Ohio Health Department, you can do so by going to koshertalkpodcast.com/poll. If you want to follow us on our social media accounts, you can do so by following us at KosherTalk_pod on Twitter, at KosherTalkBob on Twitter, Facebook at KosherTalkPod, Instagram at KosherTalkPod. If you want to email either one of us, James or Bob, it's James at KosherTalkPodcast.com or Bob at KosherTalkPodcast.com. And if you want to contact the show with any comments, questions, concerns, or if you just want to send in an audio file as well, because we do like hearing some audio from the listeners every once in a while, send that in. Again, contact us at koshertalkpodcast.com/contact. That has been it for this episode. It was a lot of fun again, and we will see you guys all on next week's show. I feel like every week I get better at that. Slowly it'll get...
I hope that what I said when I said, it'll be interesting, I hope that fit, because I couldn't hear anything you were saying.
I was talking about the photography.
I knew what you were talking about, because I knew the structure of the show and I knew what was going on, but I didn't hear the words at all, because my video, like the video connected, went clear down to red, and it was just I'm like, I don't know.
We have some exciting things coming on next week's show, and you're like, it'll be interesting. So I mean, it did fit, yeah.
Okay, good.
Now it's like if I'm like, Bob, my grandma got shot, and you'd be like, oh, that'd be interesting.
That's exactly what would have happened right there, because I had no idea what you were saying. I love when Discord does that. Not really.
But that's about this week's show. Wait.
Oh yeah, you didn't mention, but
that's about,
which doesn't matter. But people in the live stream, if you want to check out our website.
Oh, I need to do that as well. And also something also just happened where my audio cut out for a second. It looked like there, so I need to re-record something. But that's about. But I do want to give a disclaimer to check in on next week's show, because it's going to be something fun, something good going on there. Tune into that. that is it for this week's show. All right, there we go. And then I'll give an. Do you want to talk about the website at all, or no? Do you not care?
It's okay. You can.
From the listeners every once in a while.
Talk about it.
Send that in again.
Unless you want me to talk about it.
That has been it for this. I don't, unless you want to talk about it.
Nah, that's good. You can do it all.
At Coaster Talk Bob on Twitter.
Like Discord's
Facebook,
getting really flaky at the moment.
Following us at Coaster Talk _pod on /poll. If you want to follow us on our social media accounts, you can do so by following us at so yeah, that's about it for this week's show, episode number 76. A lot of fun this week, a lot of good stuff we talked about. Parks are reopening, always good to hear. Japan enforcing some strange rules. But again, if you want to answer this week's weekly poll coming up, good to hear. But again, if you want to answer this week's weekly poll coming up, again about But again, if you want to answer this week's weekly poll coming up here. But again, if you want to answer this week's weekly poll coming up, again about Kings Island and their justification of their lawsuit against the Ohio Health Department, you can do so by going to coastertalkpodcast.com/poll. If you want to follow us on our social media accounts, you can do so by following your vote and why you chose what you chose. So, Bob, something big is going to happen next week's show, and I think everyone would want to tune into that. But I do want to give a disclaimer to check in on next week's show. That is it for this week's show.
All right, my audio is uploading.
But that is about it for last week's show. I hate when I can't replicate the exact tone that I was talking in, and then it's like...
It's kind of a hard thing to do.
I know. You can do so by going to coastertalkpodcast.com/poll. If you want to follow us on our social media accounts, you can do so by following us at coastertalk_pod on Twitter, at Coaster Talk Bob on Twitter, Facebook at Coaster Talk Pod, Instagram at Coaster Talk Pod. If you want to email either one of us, James or Bob, it's James at coastertalkpodcast.com or Bob at coastertalkpodcast.com. And if you want to contact the show with any comments, questions, concerns, or if you just want to send in an audio file as well, because we do like hearing some audio from the listeners every once in a while, send that in. Again, contact us at coastertalkpodcast.com/contact. That has been it for this episode. This is so annoying. I can't find where I just was. Oh my god, where was I? I was like right here. Your vote and why you chose what you chose. So, Bob, something big is going to happen next week's show, and I think everyone would want to tune into that. But that is about it for last week's show. But that is about it for last week's show. I said last week's show, not this week's. No. But that is about it. But that is about it for this week's show. Oh God, please murder me. Can we make that happen? Can you just kill me? Oh my gosh. Where did it go? I swear I make borders for a reason and then they just don't show up anymore. Where did it go? This is a joke. /poll. If you want to follow on there, it'll be interesting. So yeah, that's about it for this week's show, episode number 70. There we into that. But that is about it for this week's show. But I do want to give a disclaimer to tune into that. But that is about it for this week's show. But I do want to give a disclaimer to check in on next week's show because it's going to be something fun, something good going on there. It'll be interesting. So yeah, that's about it for this week's show, episode number 76. A lot of fun this week, a lot of good stuff we talked about. Parks are reopening, always good to hear. But that is about it for this week's show. But I do want to give a disclaimer to check in on next week's show because it's going to be something fun, something good going on there. I'm gonna record real quick. Oh, haha. That'd be too easy. Force it, and why would you think they would do that kind of thing?
It's fine the way it was.
I don't know. Said yes. I'd be interesting to hear more of their side of things. So if anyone's listening to this, cut up in audio. It didn't sound good at all. I was like, said yes. Yeah. It'd be interesting to hear more of their side of things. So if anyone that's listening to this
on your
wants
side
to share their opinions, I mean, I think let us know because that's something that I would love to hear. Like why you think that it, like obviously don't. So that is it
Good thing
for
you bought that
last
Yeti,
week's
right?
weekly poll. This week's weekly poll is
it's a good thing you bought that
Yeti, that we
right?
talked about earlier. Do you believe that Kings Island is justified in suing the Ohio Health Department? And again, this is definitely one that I could see going both ways, and that's why we chose it.
I have to say stuff now.
There's gonna be a lot of yeses, there's gonna be a lot of nos. I can just foresee that happening now, and you got to think about more of the reasoning behind it, why they did it, what the Ohio Health Department did, things like that, more than just. So, Bob,
what is that
big's
picture
gonna
above
happen
your
next
El
week's show,
Toro
and
picture?
oh, it's Son of Beast.
That's Son of Beast?
Yeah. So, Bob, something big's going to happen next week's show, and I think everyone would want to tune into that. But that is about it for this week's show. But I do want to give a disclaimer to check in on next week's show because it's going to.
Interesting.
But that is about it for this week's show. But I do want to give a disclaimer to.
You did save the audio the way it is, though, just in case.
Something
right?
big's going to happen next week's show, and I think everyone would want to tune into that. But I do want to give a disclaimer to check in on next week's show because it's going to be.
No.
I did not. I have the audio up right now still, though. But I do want to give a disclaimer to.
Should probably just save it real quick, just in case.
Why?
Just in case.
I will in a sec. But I do want to give a disclaimer to check in on next week's show because it's going to be something fun, something good going on there. It'll be interesting. So tune into that. I'm just going to delete that part where I say it'll be in where you say it's interesting. But I do want to give a disclaimer to check in on next week's show because it's going to be something fun, something good going on there. And
all right, that's fine. Just say it yourself then, because
so yeah, that's about it for this week's show.
I already uploaded
76.
the audio for you to grab, so
I'll edit it, for you. So yeah, that's about it for this week's show, episode number 76. I'm gonna talk about the website though. Something awesome that we just completed actually prior to this recording of the podcast. So this is a couple days after that. Couple days. Something we actually just completed a couple of days ago, actually, at the date of this podcast being released, is our brand new website, CoachTalkPodcast.com still, but it is updated. It looks a lot better, a lot cleaner, a lot more professional in both of our opinions. So hopefully you guys will enjoy checking out what we have to offer there. You can make your own account. You can comment on the blog, things like that. A lot more interactivity going on there with the weekly polls and the videos and everything like that. So definitely check out our website. That's something that I would look forward to. What the hell was that?
Did you hear it?
No.
That like lightning like had to have struck something nearby.
I thought you were having a heart attack. I was like, oh my God, Bob. No, that's I was like, that's kind of sad. I just kept recording. The show must go on.
That's that scared the shit out of me.
I'm re-recording that because I messed up the end there because I was starting to get worried. All right.
I'm sorry. That just really scared the shit out of me.
Something else to look forward to, something else actually that's already occurred, is our new website, stillcoastertalkpodcast.com. Don't be worried about that. You don't have to memorize any new website links or anything like that. Still the same web addresses, but it is updated. It looks more professional. It is definitely a added wonder. What the fuck does that mean? What does that even mean?
It's the 8th wonder of the world. The Coaster Talk podcast website.
One more time. Right? Something else to look forward to, actually, something that's already occurred that you guys can go be checking out. Some other great news, something else that you guys can go check out right now if you haven't already. CoasterTalkPodcast.com has gotten a brand new renovation. We have a new website now. Looks a lot more professional. It still has all the podcast episodes, still has the blog posts, still has all the videos, still has the weekly poll, still has everything, but it just looks more professional. And we're actually hoping down the line, this is not confirmed or anything like that, but tentatively hoping to do some merchandise eventually. So that's something to look forward to in the future as the podcast progresses. We're very excited about the new website, so go check that out. It's again coastertalkpodcast.com. And then I say something and I cut back in. So but again, if you want to answer this week's weekly poll, you have to work tomorrow, Baba, again about Kings Island.
Yep.
And their justification of their lawsuit against the _pod on Twitter.
Yep.
At Coaster Talk Bob. Do so by following us at
did you figure out how to redirect the
pod on Twitter?
blog?
No, I did not.
How come it just redirected for me?
Maybe. I don't know. A lot of fun this week. A lot of good stuff we talked about. This week's show, episode number 76. A lot of fun this week. A lot of good. Tune into that.
Yeah, it must have still been big hat cached.
All right, guys on live stream. Sorry you had to watch that. See you guys next